Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge, where we guide you through the magic of Disney.
Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge. I'm Brian.
And I'm Tracy.
This is actually our first episode, and we're really excited. We were going to release this podcast probably, a couple of weeks ago, but we decided to wait till we actually went to Galaxy's Edge. So this is going to be a Galaxy's Edge episode. But we do talk all things Disney, so each episode is going to be different. But thanks for joining us. Just to get a little housekeeping out of the way, be sure to follow us at Instagram at Rope Dropping Knowledge, on Twitter at Rope Dropping, YouTube at Rope Dropping Knowledge, and, of course, our website, ropedroppingknowledge.com. We're being brought to you by Ashley Wynn Makeup. You can go to ashleywynn.com if you're in the Orange County area and you want a professional makeup artist to come to you. She is trained at a Hollywood school. She can pretty much do all types of stuff, theatrical, television, or if you just want to just look good and go out there and just, be dazzling on the town, go to ashleywynnmakeup.com for an appointment and a quote. And if you are in the Sacramento area or El Dorado Hills, be sure to visit Black Boutique. That's Black, B-L-A-Q. And that's at 375 Green Valley Road, El Dorado Hills, for the latest in women's fashion. Okay, so we went to Galaxy's Edge.
Yes, on June 3rd.
June 3rd, yeah. And we were too lazy to do the whole, because we're Comic-Con people too, so we didn't want to get up. We know what it's like to get up and try to get the free reservations. For those of you who don't know, if you want to go to Galaxy's Edge before, what's the date?
June 23rd.
Yeah, before June 23rd, you have to have a reservation to actually get into that land. So we basically got a hotel room, which guarantees you a stay. So we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, which is very nice. But I think they kind of make it to where they don't make it so nice to where you're staying in the room. I think they want you out in the park spending credits. Mm-hmm. That's what they call money in Galaxy's Edge. So as far as Galaxy's Edge, what was your overall impressions? You can go first.
It was very immersive. Everything was very detailed, and there's nothing Disneyland in there, so you really feel like you're on another planet. So that was my first impression. Everything was like, wow, because everything in there you see, like the Millennium Falcon. You only saw it on TV, so that was the first time I saw it in real life, or everybody saw it in real life. So there were a couple people who were emotional and tearing up, the real Star Wars fans tearing up. So even I was like, wow, and I'm not like, I'm a casual Star Wars fan. But yeah, there were a lot of people that it was very detailed. Even if you go in the back of the Millennium Falcon and underneath it, you can see everything. Or you look up in the ceiling and it's still,
Yeah, that's what I heard a lot of other podcasters, YouTubers comment on. It's like the theming that they do doesn't stop at the ceiling. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's not like just eye level. Like everything. These buildings were created for the entire, like you are on Batu, which is the name of the planet. The planet, and then Black Spire Outpost is the city. So you're actually on this planet in this city, and it takes place. I guess what we would consider during the current movies, the current trilogy with Rey and everything. So this is after the original trilogy and obviously the prequels. But it looks like you are on like Tatooine or one of these desert planets that are in the Star Wars universe, and they even speak to you in a way that like they don't. If you try to use like just normal words,
like good morning, they don't say that.
They say bright suns.
Yeah,
bright suns, and then in the evening it's rising moons, and then to say goodbye it's till the spire.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, and for somebody who's been a Star Wars fan for a long, long, long time, for decades, it's just weird that we live in a time where you can actually go visit. It's not like it's not like some of these other lands where you kind of know you're in a land. Like they want you to forget that you're in Disney. They want you to forget that you're on Earth. So
Right.
it's pretty cool. They don't allow cosplay or anything. I mean, we're not cosplayers or anything, but that's the only thing that would probably make it 100% immersive. But they really, I guess, for security reasons and for marketing purposes, they're not going to allow cosplayers because, you don't want, a little kid to go up to a stormtrooper who's not working for Disney and the stormtrooper says, "Get out of my face," or something like that, Also, it's a security risk. They don't allow
that's the overall Disney rule. So you have to still abide by the Disneyland costume rule.
Yeah, because they don't even allow adults to wear masks during Halloween, correct?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Because I remember we were there like the week before we went to Galaxy's Edge, and they were kicking out like some goth kids that had makeup on and stuff, and they were like, "Nope, security's not going to have that." So the only thing that kind of takes you out of it is the other people, the other guests, who are going to, be wearing their, LA Rams jerseys or whatever. but yeah, it was great. The food is great. And it has sound effects. Like, even if you're just walking through the land, you'll hear like, fighter jets, X-Wings flying over and stuff. They don't have Rise of the Resistance, which is supposed to be the greatest ride they've ever created, the most expensive one. That wasn't open yet, and that's not going to be open until later this year. But I don't think even if it was ready, I don't think they could have, because you only get a 4-hour window during the reservation period. And we still didn't do everything. We didn't build a droid. We went and we built a lightsaber, which you can see on YouTube right now. And that was an awesome experience, and I'll talk about that in a second. But just from the timing perspective, I mean, I think you probably could do everything, if we wanted to stand in line. But I think after we did the lightsaber, we saw that the droid line was a little bit long, and we wanted to get the most out of our 4 hours. So we went from 8 to 12, and we wanted to make sure we obviously did the Millennium Falcon, the Smuggler's One ride, which is open. But I guess my point about Rise of the Resistance is if they added that'd probably be another hour line on top of everything else.
Yeah.
And so you'd probably need at least 5 hours at a minimum to do everything. And that would just be a mess. So can't wait to go back. We're going to definitely do Rise of the Resistance when it opens. The lightsaber experience, wow. I mean, it's $200. So my mother-in-law, your mom, and my mom, I had, my birthday was in May, so they gave me a couple of Disney gift cards, and I put that towards it, and that made it a little more affordable for me. But I'll be honest, I would have paid for it anyway. I mean, it was. But I'm a Star Wars geek. If you're not a Star Wars geek, a lot of people are asking, well, is it worth it? So let's look over a couple of points. The quality of the lightsaber, other than it being a real lightsaber that can actually cut through steel and stuff. Yes, the quality is good. The outer casing that you put together is made entirely of metal, except for the switch. That the actual ignition switch is plastic, but that's good. The blade is long, and it's not like the flashlight type of blades where it just turns on and off. You actually see the light, extend and retract. So that's pretty good. The sound effects are good. It's sturdy enough. You're supposed to kind of hit things with it. And then it has different sound effects when you hit it. So it's kind of like the old Force Effects lightsabers in that respect. But one of the things I was thinking about as a strategy, because they sell legacy lightsabers in Doc Ondor's. Is that how you pronounce it? Doc Ondor's Antiquities, which are basically pre-built lightsabers that belong to actual characters in the movies, like Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader. And they're about the same price if you include the blade, some a little less, some a little more. But I'm glad I didn't. They don't have crystals that you can put into them. You can't take them apart, and they're just more like replicas. Whereas this is something that's unique to me, and it's unique to every builder. You could take it apart, and you get to choose your crystal, which actually determines your color, the color of the blade anyway. But the presentation, I mean, wow! Like you'll see it on our video, and there's a lot of videos out there. But I mean, it's like this whole thing that's in secret. They kind of have to sneak you in. And then once you get in there, because when you're outside, they just refer to it as a scrap metal. You're just looking for scrap metal,
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to see stormtroopers come by from the First Order, and they were like, trying to search things out. And hey, what's going on here? And they're like, no, we're just scrap metal. And then they'll come by, like, shh, be quiet, like don't say anything, don't rat us out, So it was really cool. It was the experience itself. You're paying for. Like when you go to like certain places in Vegas and you're paying for like a dinner and a show, well, this is a lightsaber and a show, and you're actually part of the show. So when they smuggle you in when it's your check-in time, that's another thing a lot of people haven't mentioned before when I've looked at other channels and stuff. They will give you a check-in time. And you can like go out and we explored the land. We got some drinks and stuff, and then we came back at a check-in time. So you don't have to stand there the whole time. You just have to stand there and wait to pay.
Right.
And then your check-in time, you're probably going to check in and then wait like another 10 minutes for the group ahead of you to finish. But you can walk around. And during the reservation period, I don't know how it's going to be during when it's open season, but they do cut off the line because they know everybody has a 4-hour window. So a lot of people I've seen get upset because they couldn't do it because they thought they could come back and do the lightsaber thing last, and they're already saying that no more people can do it. So we did it first, so we got in, but there was a lady there who was pretty ticked off, and and Disney security, as always, is probably handle things perfectly. But if you're gonna do it, you got to prioritize it. So.
Yeah, and they probably will do something different once it opens because this is this reservation period is for them to test things out and see how to tweak the system and stuff.
Right.
So maybe they'll do a fast pass or something like that.
So this is like a Galaxy's Edge soft opening. So yeah, they're trying to see what works, what doesn't, how many people should they allow in. So that gets me to let's talk about Smuggler's Run first. It's Smuggler's Run. It's the Millennium Falcon ride. You actually pilot it. We actually got to pilot it.
Yeah.
So there's 6 seats in a pod. I think there's 7 actual pods. So they take 6 people in each pod. So the line when we went, at least in a reservation period, if you have a reservation, you don't have to do that first. Everybody rushes there or to the cantina. And we did the lightsaber thing, and then by the time I think we had like another hour left, we ended up going to the Smuggler's Run ride, and we pretty much walked right on.
Yeah.
I mean and you really want to. There's a single rider line, but you'll miss a lot of the cool stuff. The actual queue, the actual line to get onto the ride is awesome. You're walking through an entire hangar. Space dock, so to speak, and you get to see the Millennium Falcon from the top, from the side. You get to see engine maintenance on all these things. It's great, and you get to see Hondo. Mm-hmm. He's talking. It's probably one of the best animatronic feats that I've seen. Even better than some of the things in Japan because he looks like a real creature the way he moves. There's no herky jerky motions like like a old Pirates ride type of thing. It's like if you knew, if you didn't know any better, like if you believed in aliens, that you would think he was real. So, but once you get up there and you get into the room, it's kind of like the lounge area of the Millennium Falcon, where in the original trilogy and actually the very first one, A New Hope, where they're playing chess.
Yeah, there's the chess table.
The chess table. Tracy got to sit down. I took a picture of her at the chess table. You get to kind of hang out in there, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Yeah, I liked that. I watched somebody's video before, and they said, a lot of people thought you have to still stand behind someone in line, but he did say it's just a lounge for you to relax in, and they'll call your number, or actually they give you a card before you enter that lounge.
Right.
And it has a color, and it has your position, so pilot, gunner, or engineer. And then, so once they call your color, that's when you line up. So in that lounge, you can just hang around, and they have buttons, red buttons you can push. I tried to push all of them, but nothing happened. I think it only goes off when a kid pushes it or something. Yeah. But yeah, you're supposed to push those buttons, and an alarm will go off or something randomly. So yeah, that was really nice.
So basically, what happens is you walk in and like I said, there's 6 people per cockpit, I should call them. Mm-hmm. And so kind of like Star Tours, like you have, different, Star Tours vehicles, they have different pods, but there's supposedly supposed to be all the Millennium Falcon because there's only one Millennium Falcon. What they do is they'll give you a card. So they'll give you a colored card and it'll either say pilot, there's 2 pilots, there's 2 engineers, and there's 2 gunners. The pilots sit in front and they're the closest to the screen and they pilot it. One pilot goes left and right, one goes up and down.